Hey everyone, my name is Chris Perry, coming to you from Barnstable, Massachusetts, as part of LiveU's Stay Connected program. Joining me today is Robert Buisman, all the way from the Netherlands, right? Good evening, Robert.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Robert, can you tell me a little bit about what you and your company do? Because, when I heard some of the things that you guys were working on, I got very excited.
Yeah, so it's hard to describe actually. We started about 8 years ago with broadcasting big music festivals, electronic dance music festivals actually, and that kind of developed. We're doing sports, corporate, but everything like with a kind of a digital new era mindset to it. So we try to achieve the highest quality possible without using the traditional expensive resources, if you will.
So, Robert, you guys have done some really big festivals in the past. Can you talk about them?
Yeah, sure. We started. All started for us with Ultra Music Festival. It's a big festival in 22 countries all around the world. Their base camp is Miami, and back in 2012 they came to us with a problem, or actually it was a challenge. Like we want to reach as many people as possible all over the world, and we have YouTube and Google as a partner. So we accepted their challenge and undertook biggest journey of our life, basically, with getting the festival out to the world. And by that time, it was still very old-fashioned, using big trucks and satellites to get it out. And we took that workflow and developed it into something more comprehensible to take it with us around the world, and started doing all ultras all around the world using technology like LiveU, for instance.
And how has that LiveU technology changed the way that you guys cover festivals? Let's say before the current situation and the current state of the world.
Yeah, so what we actually did is festivals are really harsh environments. It's basically a village built or a city actually built just for the event itself. So that means you have to reinvent everything. Power, internet, everything you have to do, like every signal you have to run, nothing is there. And LiveView enabled us to quickly work on these challenging environments because obviously we can utilize the batteries on the devices themselves for sending out cameras into the field, into the crowd. We can send our hosts to places that you couldn't be cabling, like on the very, very high end of a stadium or the rooftop of a big skyscraper, like in Singapore on the Marina Bay Sands. So it really helped us be more creative and get more and show more to the world about what it is that we do.
So you're mentioning big crowds and lots of people, and as an EDM fan myself, that I want nothing more than to go be there right now, having a good time. Obviously, the world's now a changed place. How has your business changed given the current situation, and how has LiveU allowed you to be able to adapt to that?
Well, the two biggest challenges that we have right now is A, we're not able to gather in large groups. So that means we have to think about different production workflows, like putting up a control room at an event is nearly impossible. And B, like the events themselves, they are, yeah, if there's something that needs filming, it's in a location that probably isn't equipped for it. It's not a big broadcast studio, and everybody wants to be a little creative. Like one really good example is David Guetta. Like his team came to us and said, like we want to do this show for the World Health Organization to for charity, basically, to get as much donations in as possible. But we have a challenge. Like we have to do this in Miami. They wanted to do it in Miami, in the middle on a pool deck, in the middle of a lot of balconies, so that everybody could be part of it on their balcony. But we couldn't literally bring anyone to the pool deck to film it. So we had to think about our workflow. And for that, we utilized LiveU's technology. We went in there with four cameras, two operated, two static, equipped them all with LiveUs, had a drone flying over that was streamed down and also equipped with a LiveU. And that was all sent to our remote control room where we remotely directed and switched the production.
So where was your remote control room? How many people did you have staffing that in order to be able to stream this event live?
The remote control room was actually located in Amsterdam. So we went from Miami back to Amsterdam, utilizing LU 600 devices and an LU 2000 as a receiver. Put them on the lowest delay possible. In the control room, we had a director, an AV engineer, and somebody running zooms, because this was another interesting thing. Like, we had a screen right in front of the DJ, in front of David Guetta, showing Zoom rooms that we returned the feed over the LiveU return signal. And we could switch people that were watching the stream to his screen, so he could interact with the people that were watching from anywhere in the world in the Zoom room, basically.
That's honestly amazing. So do you see this as being like a future model for other events like this? You know, as we're trying to feel our way through what the future looks like here, you know, obviously music is one of those things that brings people a lot of joy, and trying to get that to the audience, even if they're online, with some sort of interactive experience or some live components and some interactive components would probably be important. How do you see this being able to be replicated moving forward?
I think this is here to stay. There's two big things that we learned from this, because we actually use the same kind of workflow in a drone show. Like, it was a piece of art, all these drones flying over a big river here in the Netherlands, and we shot that the same way. And what were the first and biggest advantages of approaching a show using this technology is that there's literally almost no setup time. So we prep the camera bodies somewhere on a location that we control, and then move out to the event location or where the shoot is, and you literally can come there, build up the camera if it's on the tripod, or put it on your shoulder, and you're live with the control room. So it really minimizes the setup time, which is always a big cost factor, and always means that you have to get through there and everybody. It also minimizes travel and expenses, because we can keep all the people in the remote control room that don't need to be on site. And I think it enables us to do more creative things. Like, one of the things we did with this drone show is put a lot of people that were watching live into the stream using their phone by the LU Smart technology. So we had all these extra additional shots that allowed us to become very, very creative in bringing this show to life.
That's awesome. So you're getting audience perspective coming back to your control room, as well as obviously your camera feeds, and able to stitch that all together and turn that into maybe not as good as being there type production, but as close as you can possibly get to it.
Exactly. And I think, one of the major advantages is that we can really rely on the technology. The bonding, the use of 4G, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet at the same time really allows you to, make sure that you can rely on it, because there's nothing compared to that. Like, you could obviously use other types of encoders, but you're mostly relying on a single way, a single route out from the encoder to your control room. And by using LiveU's technology, we know that we can deliver a show in very harsh environments. And that for us is the utmost importance. But I also feel like, the IFB return and the return signal feed, by video feed, it really helps you do all these things that you normally use a big OB truck out in the field for. And that's amazing. And I don't see that going away. And I think people are just starting to realize, like, all these opportunities that there are technology wise, and how you can utilize that technology to develop a more creative and a much more higher quality show.
Robert, thank you so much for the time. This has been great. I like I said, I'm looking forward to music coming back, but this certainly is a suitable substitute in the meantime. And it's really great, the stuff that you guys are working on, and I'm glad to see the innovation.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And little announcement. On May 30th, there's going to be another big event that we're going to do utilizing LiveU technology.
Awesome. Well, we will have to look forward to that. I will check that out as more details become available. Robert, thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Chris.
And thank you so much for joining us on LiveU TV's Stay Connected. I'm Chris Perry. We'll see you next time.